So, welcome to the Rogue Actors Podcast, episode 4. I am Kwabena and Pofo.
And I am Angelo Mercado.
Yes, yes. I thought that we were gonna cheers water, but
I saw you grabbing like, oh, here we go, clink.
uh,
I will take a sip.
Oh man! All right, number 4. I'm surprised I made it to number 4.
I'm surprised we're at number 4 also, but our audience is growing. We have a lot of friends and people in the industry supporting us, which is fantastic.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it's going a lot smoother than I thought it would be.
Yeah. I think for me, and I mentioned this before in some of these episodes, but I had definitely been prone to picking things up and putting them down. And last week we were talking about momentum. And I know that that's sometimes how I've been able to shoot myself in the foot, as we say, which is to put something down before the momentum kicks up and really takes off. And I feel like a big part of that is that sometimes I will pick things up because I think that it will be useful to somebody else as opposed to something that I just really, really, really want to do because it's just coming up from inside. And this has been different. This was something that I said, you know what, fuck it. I just want to do this thing and see how it goes. And so perhaps that's why this is number 4.
That's why it's number 4. Also, it helps when you're doing it with somebody, because that way, like, you don't feel like you're doing it for yourself, because then that's when you really start procrastinating, and you're like, never mind. But if you doing it with somebody else, then like you kind of feel like you owe it to the other person to kind of show up and like don't put it down just yet.
Yeah, there is something about that accountability,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's just like when you go to the gym, you're all excited to go right after your New Year's revolution. Well, that too, revolving around the sun.
The New Year's revolution.
I'm thinking of wrestling events,
Yeah.
But once your New Year's resolutions kick in, you're like all hype, ready to go. You go for like 3 weeks straight, and then after that, you're like, all right, I'm done. Like that's when the excuses start to come up.
Yeah, that's a good one. You make a really good point because for a while I tried to do things like this on my own. I would make videos on YouTube and TikTok and all of these other kinds of skits and small little projects, and I'd get started on them and I would come out the gate just fucking swinging. I'm like, yeah, I got this, I'm gonna do that. And then I would have all these ideas and I'd be editing all these videos. And then there was this thing of, okay, I proved that I could do it. And then that was it. So it wasn't about the long term. It was more about is this a thing that I can do? Is this a puzzle that I can solve? And then once I had solved that puzzle, it was like, okay, we're done here. This is a thing that I can do, and let me walk.
Now I can put it down.
Yeah.
It's either that or you want to continue doing it, but then you're like, oh, I'm tired today. I'll work on it tomorrow. And I'm a little busy. I can't do it now. Let me work on it the next day, and then that's it. You're just done. You're not doing it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I realize that that's one of the things that I have started shifting away from, which is doing things because I think that they're going to be useful to someone else. It's almost like creating things and saying, okay, I'm creating things for this audience that I have not yet identified, or there's just nothing there. Once I create the project or whatever this utility is, if there's just no audience for it, I'm like, okay, I created it, but I didn't really think if there was an audience for this thing or an end user. I just wanted to make this thing to see if I could make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I was when we did the date night sketches.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do it just to do it, and then we just kind of dropped it. And now that we're doing the podcast, people are finding the date night sketches.
Stop. Really?
Yeah. So some of my coworkers at the IT job I'm at now,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I found your TikTok page. Those sketches are hilarious. You need to do more of them."
You had mentioned that one time before.
Somebody else came across them. So before it was a friend of mine, but you also a coworker. This time it was somebody who I don't really speak to,
Okay.
but he came across the sketches, and he thought they were hilarious. He was like, "Oh, you guys need to do more of these." And I do want to do more of them, but it was just something we kind of did just for fun, and then we put it away.
Yeah.
I think we need to polish those off now.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I enjoyed I enjoyed the heck out of those.
I enjoyed the heck out of those too. I
Yeah,
thought they were hilarious.
I enjoyed making them, the filming, the setting it all up, the editing. What I have yet to really come around to enjoying though, I can't be fucking with this social media shit. I mean,
Yeah.
the sharing, the posting, it's just it is a machine that I don't know that I'm aligned with that machine. I feel like that's what it is. I would love for someone to come in and be like, I see what you guys are doing, and I will lend my skill set. And then I'll be like, cool. This is the editing stuff. I can sit there all day on the cutting floor and just play around because the way my brain works, it is an optimization machine. At least that's what it likes to think.
Okay.
What it'll look at something and its go-to is how can this thing be made more optimal. And so at times that can really suck, right? Because it'll optimize itself into debt. Because if you don't ship a product, then you're not making any money, right? You're not. I can make projects in the lab all fucking day, but if nothing exits the lab and goes into production, you know,
Yeah, then you're just eating up costs.
right? Time, cost, everything like
Hmm.
that. But for editing, I just when I do the date nights, these podcasts, I'm sitting there just like time is just flying, and I'm just in it, and I'm making I'm going frame by frame in Final Cut, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this frame, and then this, and then that. So that's when my brain can really just kick in and say, okay, we can be here all night if we have to. But it's interesting because I can also very quickly be like, it's done, you know? As opposed to, I know some of the date night stuff, I went back and I was making little tweaks here and there. I was adding some sounds and music and going for certain beats. But at a certain point, I was like, okay, yeah, we can ship this. Whereas with some other projects, when there's no, I guess when there's no desire to get it out, maybe I'll just go on optimizing it forever. You know what I mean?
And then it'll never get done.
And then it'll never get done.
Yeah.
But with the date night stuff, like you were saying,
Hmm.
there's you involved. There was you, as in you, Lou, and then there was the what is our gorgeous friend's name? What was her name?
Well, which one? We had two of them. We had
Second date. Well, both of them were gorgeous. Ashley is the first one. The second one was
Elena.
Elena.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just gorgeous, talented actresses. But yeah, to your point, it's like, okay, there are at least three other people for each one
Yeah.
that would, they deserve to see this thing get made. And so at that point, then there's this other thing that kicks in and says, okay, you can optimize, but listen, there's some other people who are out here, relying on you to get this thing out. And so,
Yeah. So that's why when like you feel like you're beholden to someone else, you're like, all right, let me get this done. If not for me, at least let me get it done for them.
yeah,
Because how's that term go? That perfection is the enemy of completion.
yeah, perfection is the
Yeah.
enemy of, what is it? I think it is that perfection is the enemy of the good. I've heard that one.
I've heard the other one. I guess there's more than one. They both work.
They both
Yeah.
work. Yeah. Yeah, because man,
Because it's never gonna be perfect.
yeah,
At some
no.
point, you just got to be like, you know what? Let's get this out there into the world.
Yeah.
Let's show people what I've made.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well, that said, if there's anybody out there that wants to help us with the social aspect of it, we'll definitely welcome the help.
welcome is an understatement because I mean, I again, that's not I've learned that I can't be a one man army when it comes to certain
Hmm.
things. And so my sensibilities for the social media game definitely not quite there. And the other aspects of it,
I have
yeah.
to say though that you have been doing a great job with the Rogue Actors Instagram page.
Really
I think so, yeah.
fascinating.
You've been doing the socials on your own for the Rogue Actors pages, and I think you've been doing a phenomenal job with those.
Huh. I'm going to take that. I am not going to contest it. Nope. Not going to contest it.
You're releasing the videos with a good amount of space in between them. So the clips is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You don't need to be like banging them out every like 3 hours. I think, one a day or one every couple of days is fine. It still keeps the engagement going, and whenever that goes up, I see people interacting with it. So what you're
Hmm.
doing now is working.
Okay. That was one of the things that I was kind of concerned about, which was do I release 3 videos a day that are shorter clips, maybe 1 minute each, in order to quote unquote feed the quote unquote or quote end quote. Who
Quote
knows?
unquote.
It's interesting because I feel like it should be end quote, but anyway, to feed the algorithm, right? This week I started saying, you know what? I want to release one video a day and have that video be longer. And I say that I went that route because I was looking at the first 3 episodes and cutting this down to a minute or trying to take sections of it to cut it down to a minute because whether it's the algorithm or whether because we say that our attention spans are getting worse or whatever.
Well, that's actually true. Our attention spans are getting worse. There's just too much content out there. It's hard to keep up. So after like a couple of seconds, your brain just checks out.
And I feel like I did not, part of it is that number one, I didn't want to continue that route. I didn't want to feed into that.
Okay.
Because if we keep feeding into that, making content in shorter, like 1 minute bursts or whatever, then that's just going to keep perpetuating itself, like a self perpetuating,
Mm-hmm.
prophecy, self fulfilling prophecy, like that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Okay, we have short attention spans. Let's make things for 1 minute. It's just going to keep going that way. And then number two also is that you lose so much. You lose so much meaning and content and just context and everything when you try to take this and turn it into a 1 minute soundbite. Can it be done? Sure. But also, the thing that's really been getting at me these days is how all of these videos that we're seeing, and I remember vividly when this started happening, we started cutting all the pauses out of all content so that everything is just this rapid fire. This person speaks, that person speaks, this
Okay.
person speaks, that person speaks. And there's just no pauses, no silence. And that's just not real conversation. It's just weird that that's become the default because I remember when that started happening and I said, this is weird. There are just no pauses in the content that we're looking at. It's just odd. It's unnatural. And then now you have a whole generation of humans who find silence and pauses absurdly uncomfortable to the point where they have visceral reactions to silence because it's just not reflected in their everyday reality.
Yeah, because whenever you're absorbing media from whatever medium you're using, if there's any form of silence, you feel like something is missing, and your brain is trying to fill in that gap. I know in radio, you're not allowed to have dead air, and to them, dead air is like if you're in the middle of a conversation with the host, and you just stop talking for a minute to try to gather your thoughts, and nobody's speaking, then that's dead air, and they're not allowed to do that.
Hmm.
I've heard many, DJs talk about it.
Yeah. I From a business perspective, I get that because dead air is dead time and you don't want people to check out, or again to your point, right? If there are no visual cues and you hear silence, then yeah, you might think something is wrong. And then if you think something is wrong, are you going to wait around or are you going to change the station to where you get some noise and some feedback, right?
Right.
And so that's actually one of the things that came up when I was editing for editing this podcast, right? Because on YouTube, unless you pay for YouTube Premium, you can't watch this
Without
with,
ads.
well, not even without ads, but without your phone. You can't turn your phone off.
Oh, right,
You
right.
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? With YouTube Premium, you could turn your phone off and listen to us.
Yeah.
So if I was making this just for YouTube and thinking only visually, the pauses, I could talk myself into saying, "Oh, let me cut out the pauses so that we don't scare people away." And Spotify, even with just no matter what version of Spotify you have, you can still turn your phone off
And continue
and
listening.
continue
Okay.
listening. So I did think about that, about pauses. And there were some times where I did cut out long pauses, like super. Like I think we had some technical difficulties. Not many, but there were some parts where there were super long pauses, and I was like when we were fiddling around episode 2 with Lady Gaga. Was it
Y-
two?
That was
It was
three.
two.
Two, yeah, yeah,
It was
two.
two.
Two. When we were trying to get the
Yeah,
Mr. Rogers
it was
Lady
two.
Gaga thing, yeah.
So there was a lot of fiddling around. So I said, I'm gonna have to cut this because there was a lot of fiddling, there was a lot of silence, and if you're not watching it, you can't see my reactions, your reactions. So I was like, okay, we gotta, I gotta cut that. And it's fascinating because one of the things that I have heard is that when you make something for Netflix, for example, right? Apparently, and I've heard this many times before, but you have to take into account that people are going to be at home on their devices.
Yes.
And so apparently the way that you just have to tell stories is now changing because you have to take into account that someone is going to have their phone nearby, that they're going to be pausing and so on and so forth. And so one of the things that you have to do is you have to make sure that you are reiterating the plot of the story
Okay.
multiple times, more so than you would have to through in maybe like a feature film or back in the day when we didn't necessarily have phones and we're constantly distracted like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people can so quickly pick up and put down your show that you have to keep refreshing their minds. I'm thinking to myself, that's just wild.
That's just the way the times are going. Because a lot of people don't even own TVs anymore. They consume all their media on either their phones or their laptops. I know quite a few people who don't own a TV and they watch movies on their laptop.
Yeah.
And I find that fascinating because I have to have a TV.
Mm. I actually don't have a TV anymore.
There you go. Well, you have a projector though, so that's kind of like having a TV.
Well, yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
but
but there's some people who this is how they consume their media on a 10-inch screen.
yeah, yeah. And I think,
I was gonna say there's nothing wrong with that, so I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that you have to be able to kind of cater to, to people who only watch things on their
on their
laptop, yeah,
laptops, yeah,
or their phones.
yeah.
Because myself, like, I watch a lot of anime, like a lot. So I'm not always able to watch it while I'm at home. So a lot of times I'll download an episode on like Crunchy or Hidev or whatever, and then on my commute is where I'll catch up on the episode. So I'm also consuming media on a I don't even know what the size of the screen on my phone is. Was that 5, 6 inches?
It's when you unfold it, or just the small.
Sometimes I'll use just a small screen, which is like 5 inches, but then when I unfold it, it's probably like 7, 8.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I have a Samsung Galaxy Fold for anybody who's wondering what the hell I'm talking about.
yeah. Okay. Oof. I mean, I hear this and I see this, and there's a rebel in me who's just like, fuck this shit. I want to go back to being a fucking dinosaur, and just long form pauses.
But if
Just,
you get stuck in your ways and
well,
don't move on with the times, then like the world moves on without you.
I'm I'm very good at striking a balance, though.
Okay.
I'm very good about saying, okay, I can concede some aspects, and then there's other things where, listen, you don't want to lose this because there's a realness, there's a grittiness, um, imagine just New York City without, let's just say, graffiti or
Well, graffiti's not as prominent now as it was like back in the 80s.
sure, right. That being, there's still some, every now and again, like you still see flavors of old New York City here and
Yeah.
there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I'm not saying that we need to keep, tagging up buildings and everything like that, but there is something about having the old flavor from the past, still wafting through the air. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because without that, everything kind of feels sterile, in my opinion.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from.
For example, right? Date night. Let's just go back to that for a second.
Okay. Which one?
Let's talk about
Ashley or Elena?
Elena.
Okay.
That we did not film it. It was we filmed it like what, single cam?
Single cam, yeah. By the way, shout out to Elena Crociani and shout out to Ashley Lara for being a date night. Thank you for your talent. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Y'all two are fabulous.
Yeah.
Y'all two are on deck for the next ones in some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Like we'll have an episode where all the women you've dated kind of like run into each other, and they're just like, you two.
Like you dated this idiot too?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really date. They went on a date, so
Right,
yeah.
right. But when you see something like a good multicam sitcom, which you don't necessarily have that many of anymore. For example, right? I grew up, again, you're talking about, I'll just pick Married with Children.
Okay.
One of my favorite.
Shout out to the GOAT. Albert.
Shout out to that whole cast. The GOAT, Ed O'Neill as Al Bundy, Katie Seagal as Peggy Bundy, Christina Applegate, Kelly Bundy, David Faustino as Bud Bundy. I mean,
one of our good friends, George Papadamatos, it's his favorite, at least one of his favorite shows ever.
yeah.
So one year for his birthday, I did the cameo. I had David Faustino.
Yeah,
give him a shout
you
out.
can do that. Yeah, you can. Yeah. I mean, that is just a masterclass in the family sitcom. And again, I grew up on really good family sitcoms,
Mhm.
right? I'm talking. So I didn't really. I'll go back. Amen, for example, 227. Obviously, The Cosby Show, but in my youth, I
Growing
was.
Pains.
What's that?
So don't forget Growing Pains.
Right. I was gonna say that in
The
my
Wonder
youth,
Years, Winnie Cooper. Shout out to Winnie Cooper.
I was surrounded by really good sitcoms, family sitcoms with predominantly black casts, right? Amen. 227, Cosby Show, and then obviously, Fresh Prince, all these different things.
Family Matters, yeah.
Right. There was a way of storytelling via the family sitcom, which, in my opinion, has been lost to a certain extent in our present day. And I feel like that's one of the things that I would not want to lose.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm on board with it being modified and modernized, right? But that format, there's something just really magical and special about that format when it's done right. The Golden Girls.
Right.
I mean, are you serious? That's just a masterclass in just an ensemble acting and just the writing and just everything, Like, that's magical. Live audience, live studio audiences, and all that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's something that I would not want to lose. I get that it can be modernized and move with the times, and so that the stories themselves can reflect our modern day. But that format, that's just magic. Like, that's beauty. Like, imagine being in the audience and
I've always wanted to be in a live studio audience. I don't even know how to go about like getting to like how do you sign up to be in a live studio audience? Not that there's any sitcoms out now, anyways. Which is, I mean, speaking to your sort of thing about the format.
yeah,
Going back to our friend George Papadamatos, Maytal Angel, they wrote that pilot together for Jimmy's and
Jimmy's
Jenny's.
and Jenny's.
And his goal in Jimmy's and Jenny's is to try to keep the magic of the old school sitcom, to try to keep that format and the whole family dynamic. So he's trying to, like to your point, updating with the times, but still trying to keep that magic.
Yeah.
And I think he did a phenomenal job with the pilot episode.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pilot episode thoroughly. And I am just really proud of him, the whole team,
George
Maytal, just really working to get that made and to keep that format alive.
Sarah Seeds and Mike.
Yeah.
Great job producing and directing it.
Yeah.
Mike. I think Mike is a great director.
Yeah, I love Mike's work. Yeah.
So shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike. Yeah.
Shout out to Sarah Seeds.
Sarah Seeds.
And Mike has also been kind of guiding us on a short film that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
He kind of hit me up the other day, actually, asking like, what's the status on that?
Okay.
So I didn't really have an update to give him, but it's kind of nice that he's checking in and seeing it. You're like, yo, it's a good script, get it done.
Yeah.
Get off your ass.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would totally want to, number one, work on a family sitcom, and I was close.
With the Tracy Morgan one?
Yeah, the Tracy Morgan one. Yeah, Tracy Morgan, the show Crutch, which I actually need to look and see if it aired or what the status is with that. Because I didn't follow up on it, admittedly. I
didn't follow up on it either, because when they cut your character from the episode.
Yeah.
But I did see a trailer to a Tracy Morgan sitcom recently. I don't know if it was Crutch. I think they might have changed the name of it.
Really? What happens in it? Bit of backstory.
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember at all? No.
I just I wasn't paying attention. I just know that they showed Tracy Morgan. They showed like a trailer to the sitcom.
Yeah.
But I was busy doing something else, so I wasn't paying attention. But then I remember hearing a different name to it, and I was wondering like, hey, is that the same one Quabner was? Or is this different?
Because I think there were 2 shows that he was working on, but I will double check after the podcast because I really am curious to see what they did with it. Not whether or not my character was recast or anything like that. That much I'm not super concerned about, but more because it was just really exciting to see, again, 3-camera family sitcom, and it was being shot at the same studio where they filmed The Cosby Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I was just like, I was excited to be in that, part of that project. And honestly, I'm still very much grateful that I was able to at least go through that experience of, of booking that role and then being on set for the for
The
the
table read.
studio, yeah,
Okay.
the table read, and then the studio run through and that kind of stuff. uh, I would say that was, I mean, career wise, that was probably one of the coolest things that I got to experience, because just surrounded by all these talented people just doing their thing, and you're like, okay, this is this is dope. Like, this is what this is what this is like. And I know that in this business, it is said that it is super useful to have a thick skin. Uh, that being said, it, I will admit the very human thing and be like, that kind of sucked a bit. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, I did. I was able to keep moving and everything like that, but it is it is a bit tough where you say to yourself, okay, I do not know where this will go, but I know that at the very least it'll be, an episode in a family sitcom with
Hmm.
a live studio audience, which is something that I thought was pretty dope, because at that point, it's really live theater, right? In
Yeah.
in a sense,
Well, not really, because they do cuts.
they do cuts,
Yeah.
but
And live theater, there's no cuts, there's no redos. If it's a live studio audience, you try your best to stay stay the course.
yeah.
But when you flub a line, they'll come back and they'll do it again.
But it's, yes, it's still, I would say, a form of live theater, because there is that live studio
Yeah,
audience there,
right.
you know? And that definitely adds something to it, because now, yes, typically you'll have your crew, right?
Hmm.
But now there's your crew, and then you look off and you see that, oh, there's the bleachers, the stands, the rows,
Yeah,
and there's humans in there who are watching this thing, watching everything happen live, and so they're watching the magic happen,
yeah,
live or whatever. And I didn't have that experience, obviously, because during the studio run through and everything, there was no, the only people who were in the audience were the crew and everything
okay.
like that. But it's fascinating. Yeah, it is. It is really fascinating, and you see the work ethic that you would have to have in order to make it in that,
Hmm.
in order to exist in that space. But also, you get to see that everyone's human, just like you are.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I think one thing that would be difficult to without the live studio audience, but like the live theater aspect of it. I don't know if you ever seen Adolescence.
Ha! Yes, yes. Because I started watching all the for your consideration stuff.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like great show, but I think that style of storytelling is extremely
Oh,
difficult.
the one take,
The one
the
take,
one take all the way
yeah,
through.
because if you fuck up at any point, uh, everybody has to start over from the beginning.
Now that is live theater,
Yeah,
because you got to do that in one
one straight run through for the
one
entire
one run
episode.
through. I'm curious how they. So I watched that last week.
Okay.
I just went through all 4 episodes. Great show. I'm curious. There are some takes, or no, excuse me. There are some scenes where I need to know how they got that one. I don't.
The one shot.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they were able to move from an interior to an exterior.
Well, some of it is probably soundstage.
Yes, and there are two scenes in particular where I don't know how they would have moved through a particular opening without any spoilers. I'm one of those people. I hate spoiling things for people.
Okay.
And so what I will say is that there's one scene where they're in a school, and they move from the interior of the school to the exterior of the school incredibly quickly. And I'm like, how? Because when you see it, you say to yourself, in order for the camera to have gone from point A to point B, through what you think you're looking at, someone would have had to have been a ninja.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
There's no way it could have been done via drone.
One, it could have been via a drone, but the timing, and maybe that just speaks to the orchestration, how great of an orchestration it was, because the timing of it would have had to have been super impressed. Like, just, I mean, you're talking just tenths of a second, maybe, or something like that. I will show you the clip afterwards, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. But that just speaks to how impressive the production was.
That production is
I'll just put it that way.
incredibly well done. I
Yeah.
went to the SAG screening for the pilot episode, so I got to
Okay.
get a little bit of the Q&A.
Yeah.
But yeah, every single episode was a one shot. And then he mentioned, like, if anybody flubbed, if they couldn't continue forward because of the flub, they had to stop the entire production and go all the
Reset.
way back to the beginning of that whole shot. So everybody had to be on point. They did multiple rehearsals to make sure that everybody's like hits their mark,
Yeah.
which is incredibly impressive. But it's also kind of scary in the sense, like, if I booked a role on a show like that, I think I would be a little intimidated. I'm definitely excited to, for the challenge,
Yeah.
but I'm also intimidated to do something like that.
I go back to the idea of, if you get booked for something, you can do it. And the intimidation part of it
It's because you care.
is because you care, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you were, for example, to book something like that, or let's just throw it out there, when you book something like that, the energy that you have because you care, you'll be able to pull something out of you that you didn't know that you had. And you'll be like, yo, I don't know where that came from, but I pulled it out and we made that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel that
That's when you go back to your anime roots and channel your inner Yami, Captain Yami from Black Clover,
Yami Taicho.
and surpass your limits.
Yeah. Oh, man. All day limit break.
Yeah, but that's his, his thing is always, whatever you think your limit is, just try to surpass them. And that's kind of what you would do in a situation like that. When you book a role and they're doing like a one shot and you don't want to mess up,
Yeah.
you're going to surpass your limits and you're going to get through it.
Yeah. Something takes over. Something. And I feel as if though the intimidation, the nervousness, Clayton, so my stand-up comedy teacher, guide, one of the best comedians and humans I've ever met, Clayton Fletcher, he always said in class, the nerves are there, like you said, right? Because you care, they're your best friend because it's just energy. And so when you're able to guide it and have it work for you, then all of a sudden, that's when something else takes over and then the magic happens, right? And he would say that sometimes a lot of people try to dull their nerves.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people will even try and, before they go up on stage, take a shot or they'll drink or something like that. And Clayton
just do a little, a little sniff, sniff,
a little sniff, sniff. But Clayton doesn't do any of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Like he
Straight edge.
never drinks. I've never seen him drink.
Okay.
If he does, he absolutely does not do it before he goes up on stage. And that guy crushes it every single time. And there is something to repetition, right? Where even if you know that you can't necessarily on demand, like draw something out. It's like Goku with Ultra Instinct.
Okay.
No, he doesn't know how to do it, but it's there when he needs it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can't call it out on command because if he could, what would you do? How would you stop him?
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
But it's there when he needs it, right? And I feel like that's something that we all just have. It's there when we need it, even if we can't draw it out. Just something just takes over. And you say, I don't know, but I know that when I just show up and I go in 100%, another 10% shows up out of nowhere. And
right.
then you know what I
surpass your limits.
Yeah.
Go beyond plus ultra, right?
Plus ultra. Anime is great for that. I love anime for that.
It's always got a lot of positive messages.
Yeah.
It's always about like, being a better person.
Constantly. Yeah.
But I definitely would like to work on a sitcom. It's always been a dream of mine. Actually, if like I could book one role for the rest of my life, it would probably be sitcom.
Okay.
Because like that's what I grew up. That's what I love. I love comedy. I can do drama also, but I kind of lean more towards comedy and sitcoms. That would be my jam. Like if I could be on like a Modern Family or something like that, I would love that.
Wow. I mean, Modern Family, to me, again, that was another show. It was single cam. That was a masterclass in comedy. Again, Ed O'Neill, I'm just saying.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. He is truly one of just such an interesting person to watch because his timing is just impeccable. But that whole cast was just amazing. The writing was just really well done show. I still actually have to finish it. I don't think I actually finished it.
Yeah, you got to get to it.
So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna finish that. I'm pretty far in, but yeah.
And every character, like every actor on that show, does a phenomenal job. Katie Segal, I mean, it's like great in Married with Children also, because she's a singer, and then you see her going from Married with Children to Sons of Anarchy. You're like, holy shit, like she's fucking amazing.
The range, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know she could sing.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I follow her on Instagram, and I managed to catch a video she had posted some time ago. She was on stage just rocking out. I was like, yo, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking of shows. I would like to be on a sitcom. Also, I'd want to be on a show like 24. Oh, man.
24 was legit.
Well,
not the sequel.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was it Live Another Day? Or the one with Corey Hawkins, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's a great actor, but that show just didn't have the magic as the Kiefer version.
Nah, man. Yeah. I mean, they tried, but it just, no. But 24, I mean, that was just every episode was just a
banger.
Tour de force. So you're just man. And then I still get chills when I think about the silent countdown. Bro, when someone got bodied enough to warrant a silent countdown, you're like, the silent clock, you're like, oh man, the air just comes out of you. For anyone who hasn't seen 24, you gotta go back and watch that show. That's a show that I would like, something like that, where I had the idea last week when I was watching Adolescence.
Okay.
I was like, yo, a one-shot 24. I'm like, man, that would be bananas. Yo, how would you do a show like 24? It could be done.
That'd be really difficult because there's so many different.
There's so many things that happen.
There's so many different places that you need to kind of see. You need to see what's happening with the FBI. You need to see what's happening with the NYPD. You need to see what's going on in the streets. It's just like so much. So that'd be a really difficult show.
You'd have to write it differently.
Yeah.
You'd have to write it differently.
It's definitely doable. I think it would be fucking amazing.
Bro,
but that sounds difficult.
I mean, it sounds like the ultimate challenge, right? Because if you think about 24, I mean, there was shit just like blowing up every episode.
Yeah.
Like just, but, and then they were right. They were panning back from this group to this group
Yeah.
to this thing. So that's how they built all the tension.
And that's how they fill in all the information.
Yo, there was a movie. Is it Clive Owen? Maybe I'm making this up. I think it was called Children of God.
I don't think I've seen this.
I may, I think I might be getting it wrong, but I think maybe it's Children of Men or something like that.
Okay. Was it a boot?
I'm gonna butcher it, but there's a war that has broken out, and in this world or in this timeline, whatever you want to call it, it's people are unable to have children or something like that.
Okay.
And it turns out that I think that's what it is. Like, people are unable to have children, and there's a war that's broken out because of it, or something like that. Or I'm butchering it, but let's just say that that's the crux of the film. You know, that's what has caused a lot of issues. I don't know whether it's from infertility or whatever it is, but people just aren't able to have children. And I'm pretty sure it's Clive Owen. But there's just one scene, and it's a one shot, and it looks as if though you're watching a video game almost, because it's shot from his back, and it's just him just going, and it's a long scene. And you're like, yo, you're on the edge of your seat because there's just things blowing up and there's gunfire and there's just all sorts of stuff going on. And you're like, yo.
That sounds a lot like that movie with Harry Styles based off the war. It's an army movie with Harry Styles from One Direction. And was it Chris Nolan who directed it? I think it might have been Chris Nolan. And he's on the field. And he's running.
Is it an old film?
It's not old.
How?
Maybe 2020, 2019, somewhere around there.
Oh, okay.
It's like storming the beaches of Normandy, like that war. And then you see him running in his army uniform. There's an explosion here.
Are you talking about Duncan?
Flips over. Was it Dunkirk?
Dunkirk.
Yeah, I think it was Dunkirk.
Excuse me, Duncan. Yeah.
I think that was it. But yeah, it's like a one shot. And you see him running. You see explosions behind him. He gets like knocked over by an explosion that affects him.
Yeah.
He gets up and he's like running again. There's another explosion here. Like that scene is like extremely memorable. I mean, it was all done in one shot. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
I never saw the movie, but I know
vividly remember that shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, like that, something like that. You know, you pull that off, and you're able to do something like that for a show like 24, in the vein of 24, like espionage. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, that would be something like if they took Metal Gear Solid and turned it into a TV show. To me, that...
Why haven't they done that yet?
Listen.
Why isn't there like at least a Metal Gear Solid movie?
So there was supposed to have been a movie. The guy who directed, I forget his name, the guy who directed King Kong...
Peter Jackson?
No. The newer King Kong, Return to Skull Island? Was that the one?
Yeah.
Or was it just called King Kong Skull Island?
Skull Island.
So the director who...
That's the Monarch ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who directed that was supposed to be on board for directing the Metal Gear Solid movie.
Okay.
I haven't heard a word of it since. I haven't really been following, but it was supposed to have been him. And I think that there were just like some production issues. I don't know if there was also like a Konami thing going on behind the scenes, but I do know that it was supposed to be him. His name escapes me. I'll look it up and I'll find it later.
Was Kojima-sensei involved at all?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think once they cut ties, he's just off like doing his own thing, and I don't think he has any more say in the whole thing. Whether or not the director reaches out to him privately, who knows? But yeah, Kojima-san doesn't have anything to do with it, as far as I know. And I don't even think David Hayter has anything to do. Well, no, I don't think that's true. Whether or not the director again has reached out to
Mm-hmm.
David, I haven't really been following. Uh, but I don't know how much. Shout out to David Hayter. Shout out to David Hayter for just. You want to talk about an iconic voice? Solid Snake.
Was he gonna be the snake on camera
No,
or okay?
no, no. That I don't believe he was. Um, I thought there were some rumors going around that it might have been Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Uh, what's it?
I don't see it.
Okay,
I like Oscar Isaac. I think he's great.
yeah,
Loved him in Moon Knight, but I don't see him as Snake.
right. So I think there were some rumors, but again, haven't heard anything in such a long time. But yeah, like that would have been a super dope thing to have play out. Uh, Either way, I feel like that is a show that, man, would I be intimidated to be on that kind of show? Absolutely.
Because of the IP?
Because of everything.
Okay.
Well, first the IP, and then I said that it was going to be like a one shot. So then there's that. So that's just, are you kidding me? Like, that would be intimidating. That being said, I would go Ultra Instinct. I don't know how.
Pull that out of somewhere.
I would pull it out from somewhere.
What character would you want to play?
Oh, I'm going to have to be Snake.
I think I would have a lot of fun playing Psycho Mantis.
I'm just saying, I'm going to be Solid Snake. Like,
No offense, but I feel like they would want somebody with like more star power to be Snake.
sure, sure. In lieu of Solid Snake.
Even though,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Just wanted to touch on the star power thing before I forget.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I find kind of annoying is that if you have a solid IP like Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah.
you should be able to trust the IP and actually get the best actor suited for that role and don't rely on star power.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the Marvel thing, like now, Marvel, they want to cast A-list celebrity to play every single character.
Yeah.
And that's not always the best choice for the character. You should be able to trust, the IP where people are going to tune in regardless. And, that like they're not building new stars.
Right. Yeah. See, I would almost want to. So, for example, Kojima-san has his own studio, and he has a new game coming out. I believe it's called Fizzant.
Okay.
And when you watch the trailer for it, it looks like the spiritual successor to Metal Gear.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's really dope. That being said, I would think it'd be pretty cool if perhaps it wasn't a show with the Metal Gear, IP, like the Metal Gear Solid IP, but it was a show in the vein of Metal Gear.
Okay.
Where you don't necessarily need, okay, it's got to be a big budget and everything like that and we need big stars and everything.
Okay.
Where you're just building this thing from the ground up. And you're like, okay, let's just see what this thing can be if we just have a really good story, really good team, and we cast actors who are just really great for this particular project. That's what I would do.
That's what I would do also. Like, celebrities are great. Nothing against them. I want to be one. But I don't want to see the same 5 actors doing every single movie.
Yeah.
Like, I like to see fresh new faces on different projects.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a very known IP. You should be able to trust the IP itself to carry the series or the film or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like if you decide to do like a Splinter Cell, you don't have to cast George Clooney. You can cast Tom Jones I'm just trying to think of a random name, but that's
Tom
a
Jones
that's
is
a
not
singer.
unusual.
Yeah. Well, it's not unusual to cast fresh faces, Like I want to see new stars being built up.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. Oh, I'm calling it. That's the show that I gotta. That's a show. I mean,
Show or film? Like I feel like Metal Gear works better as a film franchise. Like, yeah, you can do like an Amazon series on Metal Gear. I feel like it would fit best on Amazon. But I think to have it as a film franchise might be better for it.
You know, I'm gonna go TV show. Although, when you think about it, Metal Gear games are really like movies anyway. For example, the first Metal Gear Solid, you could beat that in probably about the time of, I guess, what? I'm trying to think of a long running movie, like the last Lord of the Rings or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could theoretically beat the game like that quickly, and so yeah, that could absolutely be a film. It could also be a show because you look at some of the later Metal Gears, like Metal Gear Solid 5. It has so many chapters. You're talking about some like what? There's some 30 odd chapters or whatever. So that could absolutely be a show.
It could definitely be a show. It'll work. But typically, like, they put a bigger budget and they put more effort into production when it's a film,
Yeah,
like a blockbuster film.
yeah. I mean, if the Metal Gear TV series was anything like 24, you could pull it off easily because I mean Kiefer Sutherland was the voice for Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 5. And so I'm just saying, like they've been around the block, right? Like
Yeah.
Hollywood has been around the block, or games and TV shows. So it's definitely doable. And shout out to Kiefer Sutherland. I know there was a lot of controversy around him taking over the voice of, you know, um, the Snake family and everything like that in that game. I still think he did a great job. I love his voice acting. He has a really good voice for it. David Hayter is still the GOAT for Solid Snake. But Kiefer did a great job. And he's just a great actor.
I mean, he's a great, well-rounded actor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
Man.
remember working with Joel Schumacher. I did one of those reenactment shows with Joel, and he was directing. And I was talking to him about Kiefer because he's the one that cast Kiefer in like his first big role, which was The Lost
The Lost
Boys.
Boys.
And the studio didn't want him. They wanted somebody more known. And Joel fought for Kiefer to have that role. It's the story he tells, and I think that's amazing. And then like, because he's such a talented actor,
Yeah.
and like he really blew up from there.
Okay.
Same with Al Pacino in The Godfather. They didn't want him in that role. They're like, oh, he's too short. He can't act. We don't want him.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's Al Pacino, like one of the most phenomenal actors of our generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they wouldn't give him a chance because he was unknown. And then you built a new star by giving him that opportunity.
Yeah.
I want to see more of that.
You know what? That's what I am putting out there for you. That's what I'm going to put out there for you. You know how sometimes psychics can't use their powers for themselves?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. I'm going to put that out there, for you, right? Just something, just boom. Something that causes you to have to draw out your ultra instinct in a role, and you're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah. This is it." Whether, family sitcom, series, regular family sitcom, that kind of thing. Something where you're just like, okay, perfect fit. I feel it. I got it. It's that whole thing of whenever two or more, God is present kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that vibe, that's what I'm doing. Putting that out there.
I'm gonna take it.
All right.
I will accept that with open arms and an open mind.
Yeah, man. That's the one.
Now, speaking of building new stars, like what's some advice that you would have for people who actually want to get started in the business?
I feel like that's a pretty good way to close this out. I would say the most important thing.
Because, there's so many scams out there. And when you're first starting out, like, how do you navigate through these waters without getting scammed? Especially for, like, parents with kid actors.
I got it. The reason we can get so easily scammed is because someone can lead us to believe that we are lacking something and that they have what we need. That's the essence. That's the basis of all scams. And not even just scams, but that's
Mm-hmm.
just the basis of just being sold to.
Right.
If someone can lead you to believe that you are lacking something, they can sell you anything. And so if you're starting out in this business, the fact that you have the desire to start out on this journey means that you have everything that you need. And so if anyone comes to you saying that they have something that you're lacking in something and they have what you need, tell them to go scratch. If anything, someone will come to you and be like, wow, you have so much that it would be an honor to guide you and teach you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if a teacher, so let's just say someone comes to you and says, oh, you're lacking in this, I can give it to you.
The minute somebody starts asking you for money in order to get you work, then you
And
know
that's
it's immediate. It's
that.
immediately a scam.
Yeah. And that's it, right?
But
It,
there's a lot of resources out there that do cost money, like Backstage. You
sure.
need to have a membership for Backstage if you're gonna blind submit, or Actors Access, Casa Networks. You have to pay a membership to join these websites. But these are legitimate websites,
And they
and
don't promise you work.
they don't promise you work. It's just a format where people can upload projects that they're trying to cast. But you have to be careful when you're submitting for stuff. Do your research. Google the director, Google the producer, make sure that you're working with somebody who's reputable.
Yeah.
And if you're doing this for your kids, don't just take anybody's word off the street. Do your research. Go to the drama bookshop, purchase the agent directory, and see which agencies, are looking for kids, fresh faced kids, and reach out to them. That's how you get your kids started. You know, you, if somebody comes up to you in the mall and says, "Oh, I want to put your kid in a commercial," like that's very risky. Like, don't fall for things like that, especially, people coming up to you in the mall. Definitely do your research. Anybody's reaching out to you. If anybody's promising you anything, say wait, and then look them up and go on Reddit, see if anybody's come across this person before.
Yeah.
Reach out to your friends in the industry. Maybe sign up for an IMDb Pro. If you find them on there, reach out to other people who worked with them.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to fall for these scams. There's so many terrible people out there who will do anything to just, rob you blind.
Right. Yeah. That's the main thing to remember is that if someone is so desperate to get something from you, it's clear that you have something that they need and not the other way around. And so approach the business from a place of knowing and power that you already have everything you need. And that's not to say that you can't be taught or guided or anything of that nature, but it's to say that anyone who comes along is going to see what you have, and the truly honest and truthful and well aligned individuals will say, hey, I see what you have, and it would be an honor to work with you and guide you and help you hone your craft so that the rest of the world can see you the way that I see you.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're working with any kind of agent, just know that agents get 10% of work they get you booked on. Managers get 15% of work that they get you booked on. If somebody's asking you for money up front to represent you, it's a scam.
Yeah.
If anybody's like, "Oh, I'm going to represent you, but you have to pay us $500 so we can put your materials on our board, on our website," it's a scam. Don't fall for that.
Yeah. Yeah. You keep those things in mind and you'll be good to go. And have fun.
Have fun.
That's
And do it because you love it.
Yeah,
Because
have
if
fun.
you don't love it, you're going to be depressed. There's so much rejection in this industry. You got to really, really want it. And you got to have thick skin. Like, I've cried myself to sleep many times because this business is hard.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the fun. You definitely got to have fun, and that'll get you through. Once if it stops being fun, then and yes, sometimes things are going to be trying and challenging, but there's still fun in that. There's still fun to be found even in the challenging and the tough parts. But when it starts to become something that you might resent, reevaluate.
Well, this is a huge topic right now. So, what I would say is, anybody who's watching, if you have any questions, anything that you want to know more about, just hit us up in the comment section, and we'll try to get to you.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. Now stay up, fam.
My guy. Word. Stay up, y'all. This is Quabana and Pofo.
This is Angelo Mercado.
All right, the Rogue Actors. Thank y'all for being here. We appreciate y'all.
Good night, guys.
Peace.